A deal's a deal.
Have you ever wanted to travel to the past, to the future, to that one time you fucked up that Sephiroth boss battle in Kingdom Hearts 2? Well, thanks to geniuses over at Robinson Tech, all this can become a reality. Meet the Robinsons is a 2007 3D animated film that takes the inspirations from the likes of the Jetsons, Back to the Future, High School Musical 2, and Tomorrowland. The inspirations from the Jetsons comes from the fact that the art style of the flying ships, along with the cheeky attitude of futuristic thingamajiggies, is all charming and has the same kind of retro feel. The inspirations from Back to the Future comes from the fact that this kid goes throughout time and gets involved with situations that lead him to mess up his family's timeline. High School Musical 2, because every single movie ever made is inspired by High School Musical 2. And Tomorrowland, because it's the exact same movie. Even though Meet the Robinsons was first, Tomorrowland is the exact same movie from start to finish as Meet the Robinsons. The only exception is that Tomorrowland fucking sucks and Meet the Robinsons is awesome. Meet the Robinsons stars Daniel Henson and Jordan Fry as... are they not the same exact person? As the main kid Lewis, aka Jimmy Neutron Boy Bitch. But the real charm in this movie comes from Wesley Singerman, who voices Wilbur Robinson. I say the real charm comes from this kid because he gets the best parts of the movie. The main kid, Lewis, is a flat, cardboard, arrogant stack of Gouda cheese, while Wilbur is completely dynamic and full of charisma.
Would you quit that, please?
I know you're not a pigeon.
I think this is mainly because of the fact that this movie was originally centered around Wilbur. The original title of the film was A Day with Wilbur Robinson, but once Disney acquired Pixar, John Lasseter came on as head of the animation department as well as Pixar, leading to a whole 60% of this film to be scrapped and redone. I mean, what can you expect from the guy that greenlit The Boss Baby? Fucking dumbass. Because of this, the ending can feel incredibly rushed and a little too easy to overcome. Like at one point, Lewis just says one word that instantly fixes the entire conflict within a second. But this doesn't change a lot of the charm this movie has. Meet the Robinsons was sadly a real underperformer at the box office when it first released, barely allowing it for it to be profitable. But I was able to see this in the theater as a kid, and was blown away and inspired by the futuristic mayhem this movie held. I mean shit, this movie just goes complete batshit after minute 30. But above all, it's an adorable children's movie that holds a really surprising amount of depth within a motivational message. It's a story with an actual message to tell, even though at times it can feel a little messy in certain elements, but it doesn't really bog it down too hard. So why don't we jump into that sweaty, juicy, delicious story? Put a little butter in that bowl and let's go. So the film opens on the night Bruce Wayne's parents died, and this mother leaves her baby at the doorstep of an orphanage. Now something special happens here. Listen to the background. Did you hear that? They pull some Harry Potter 3 levels of time travel right here, and you don't even know that until the final scene, and I like it so much. So the head of the orphanage, Mildred, opens the door for this little shitty burrito, and immediately closes the door because she doesn't want that shit. So we cut years later in time to Eraserhead Lewis making some invention while his roommate Goob tells some stupid story. Goob looks like a Tim Burton character except he's dumb as crap. So Eraserhead builds a PB&J machine for some reason and takes it to an interview to get adopted. He tries to show off the device to the people that want to adopt him, but he finds out the guy's allergic to peanut butter. So in turn, Lewis straight up kills the husband and leaves the lady widowed and alone. And oddly enough, he isn't adopted. I don't know why. He goes to the roof where he carves in jail cell scratch marks on the box, and he gets a massive brain blast that he should build a memory machine to remember his mother before she gave him away. In order to do this, he starts an empire, steals Mildred's bowl, brainwashes Goob, drinks some Diet Sprite, and stays up all night working on that machine, in turn keeping up his roommate even though he has an important baseball game tomorrow. The next day, Eraserhead goes to the science fair with his machine, where we meet Flo from Progressive, and oddly enough, she's kind of important in the ending. Here we also meet a bunch of other kids who get like 1 minute of screen time, as well as Wilbur, the best goddamn character ever. Wilbur comes at Eraserhead, and just watching the scene, you can decide for yourself who is the better character.
Tracked him to this time, and my informants say he's after you.
Me? Why me?
The boys back at HQ haven't figured out a motive yet. And by HQ, I mean headquarters.
I know what HQ means.
Good. You're a smart kid. That might keep you alive. For now.
We then meet the bowler hat guy, who is basically the original Doofenshmirtz. He has a little buddy hat that helps him do shit, and he's basically Cappy from Super Mario Odyssey. But, we'll get into that later. So Eraserhead shows off his device to everybody, and it blows up the school. He gives up on wanting to make stuff, but Wilbur comes in to take revenge and shoves him off a roof. But he forgot he parked his time machine down there, and they head out to the future. Now, here we get such a very cute scene. The first time we witness the future is gorgeous. The style, the wonder, all of it brings a massive smile to my face. Eraserhead doesn't like cool things though, so he attempts a suicide bomb, but Wilbur foils his plans. He agrees to let him live in exchange for working on fixing the time machine. Meanwhile, Doofenshmirtz has Eraserhead's machine and takes it to the Cogs from Toontown. He tries to dazzle them with a device for some never really thought out motivation, and fails miserably. Earfungus and Wilbur go to the garage to work on the machine, and we meet C. Dickio, who freaks out at the sight of the terrorist. Eraserhead gets a fruit basket head thing as a disguise, and Wilbur goes to take care of something.
Wait, where are you going?
Another excellent question.
But I don't just want to sit here.
Stay.
But
So naturally, Eraserhead makes it his mission to go fuck shit up. He meets two Ozzy Osbourne looking fellows without bodies, as well as an octopus, an old man, a brother and sister who race, only leading to one of them to fucking die.
I win!
He also meets a dude who watches TV, two foreign siblings, a mentally disturbed fellow. Do you get it? He's meeting the Robinsons, the title of the movie. Soon the old fella takes him to meet the mom. She's conducting a jazz frog orchestra, which is just so cool. No jokes, that's just really dope. Wilbur Robinson comes back and sees that Eraserhead has made some new friends and takes him to a panic room where they can talk about who we just met. Meanwhile, Doofenshmirtz goes back in time to the present, I guess, and talks to Goob and gives him the worst motivational message ever.
he told me to let it go. I don't know. He's probably right.
No! Everyone will tell you to let it go and move on, but don't. Instead, let it fester and boil inside of you. Take these feelings and lock them away. Let them fuel your actions. Let hate be your ally, and you will be capable of wonderfully horrid things.
In the future, the whole family is having spaghetti and balls. Here we get an incredibly not so subtle message and theme of the movie. But it's the attitude it's discussed and approached and played with that just warms my heart and gives me the motivation to follow those words. Truly, it's genuinely sweet. It's very, very sweet, and I like it. Doofenshmirtz returns to the future, and him and his hat buddy plan to kill/capture Eraserhead. So Doofenshmirtz uses the hat to mind control a frog, and we get just one of the greatest jokes in cinematic history.
Well, it's just that there's a million people over there, and I have little arms. I'm just not so sure how well this plan was thought through. Master?
So when that fails, he goes and captures a gosh darn Titty Rex. They battle and conquer the Titty Rex and all celebrate. The mom offers to train him in the arts of Jitsu so he can be the next Hokage, but Wilbur drops the ball, or, hat. Eraserhead is pissed, so he helps Doofenshmirtz takes over the world. C. Dickio fucking dies, and Wilbur fucking dies, and everyone becomes plankton bucket-headed. But to save everything, literally everything, stop all the trauma, stop all of the war, Eraserhead just lays down one heavy-handed word on the robot, and it roasts him the fuck alive. Doofenshmirtz becomes a lone wanderer, and then, oh shit, Eraserhead meets Papa Eraserhead. Wilbur takes him in a time machine to take him back home, but actually takes him to see his mother. But Eraserhead learns to let go and move on, and that's when we hear what we heard in the intro. Eraserhead knocks on the door to call for Mildred, and okay, so if this dude wasn't here to knock on the door for himself as a baby, then he would have been left in the rain all night, starving and cold. The mother did more than give him away. She would have killed the kid if the kid literally didn't save himself by knocking on the door. But he lets go, and it's a very sweet message that I really like. He goes back to the present to say yet one more word to solve everything, then gets adopted by Flo from Progressive and the old fella, and he also falls in love, The end. Huzzah! That's Meet the Robinsons, a batshit kids film with a very, very good heart. The theme of moving on, letting go, and constantly moving forward is directly in your face, yet it holds a lot of depth. For how flat Lewis is as a character in terms of charm and writing, his journey to learn to never stop, never stopping is quite inspirational, and especially while watching this growing up. The soundtrack in this movie is fucking banging. Like, just listen to a couple of these tunes.
Let it go. Let it roll right off your shoulder, don't you know? Hello, I got something to tell you, but it's crazy. I got something to show you.
For a movie that came out in 2007, the art style holds up. While a lot of the actual characters are straight up clay-faced, the environments are gorgeous. The few times we are shown the future, it hits you with a stunning amount of wonder and discovery. And even in the very short sequence in the terrible version of the future, the amount of detail in the background makes it feel like it's actually alive and real, and it's so cool. But holy crap, if you look at any of the background characters in the first sequence, they stay there so lifeless and soulless. This is one of those movies that stands as a fond memory. Something I'd like to show my kids one day while they're young. I'd probably never watch it again in my own free time, but something about the message and the batshit craziness of all of it gives me a smile to stand the test of time. Get it? That's a future pun. I think it's crazy how when you watch the movie, you get a constant feeling like it's a mixing pot of so many other charming titles. It has a lot of inspiration that it likes to wears on its sleeves, from Back to the Future and Jetsons, but it was also inspirational to a lot of other properties in its own way. Like how Tomorrowland is basically the exact same script and theme, almost verbatim. There's even a nod to the Disney section of Tomorrowland in Meet the Robinsons. But okay, so Disney ripped off their own movie. So what? The real crazy inspiration comes from the fact that this shit straight up inspired Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, come on, the inspirations are clear. Both characters are Italian plumbers, both characters travel through time, everyone was blown away when you could throw a hat at a frog and capture its mind in Odyssey. Well, guess what? Robinsons did it first, dipshit. Oh, and the other thing you could capture in Odyssey was a massive fucking titty Rex. Oh, and yet another thing that Meet the Robinsons did first. That's right, Nintendo. I'm on to you. You can't fool me anymore, man.